Hello, I'm Marsha Masters with Economics Arkansas, and today I'm going to share with you a little bit about the stock market game. Welcome to our webinar. As you look at this first screen, you're asked a question that's kind of a great question to be asked. What would you do with $100,000? If we ask everyone in the classroom, probably we'd have a lot of different answers. But that's what we're going to focus in today on, is the topic of money. I'm going to ask you some questions about what you might do with money. Would you spend it? Would you share it? Would you save it? Would you invest it? I'm sure you're very good at spending money. I am. Perhaps you've shared money with different causes in the past or charities. Maybe you're a great saver. Today we're going to spend a little time talking about this topic of investing. So what does it mean to invest? Well, if you invest time studying for a test, I think you would probably want to see a good grade that came back on that test score. Investing is setting aside, putting it to work. So you put your brain to work studying and the result is a good grade. If you were to invest your time, set aside time specifically for practicing football every day, you would hope to be a champion. Same thing with anything like musical instruments practice or individual sports. When you invest, when you put aside time or energy or effort into something, you hope to see a good result. Well, the same thing is true of money. If we wanted to invest our money in a reason, a cause, we would hope that our money would grow over time, right? So if we had $10,000 that we did not really need right now, and we thought, what's a good way to put that $10,000 to work so that hopefully when I do want it or need it, it will be worth more than $10,000. There really are quite a few options. You could invest it in buying a house. You could put it in the bank. You could start a business maybe with that money. You might use it towards purchasing property, or you might buy stock. And that's what we want to spend a little bit of time talking about, since we are going to introduce the stock market game today. So what is stock? Well, a stock is a share of ownership in a publicly traded company. As we look on this screen, we see the Walt Disney Company. I think we all know Disney for a lot of different things. Disney is a large company, and they decided a number of years ago that they didn't want to just keep all of the profit to themselves. They wanted to share it with us, the public. So let's talk about what the difference is between publicly and privately held companies. As you travel to school or activities and you leave your house, you probably pass by a lot of businesses, and maybe you know the owners of those businesses. They like live right in your town. We would call those entrepreneurs privately held companies, meaning that they've taken all the risks so that if their company is successful, they get all the reward. They don't want to share it. It's private. It's theirs. Publicly traded companies are large companies that have proven successful over time, and they've decided that they want to open up and offer a piece of ownership in their company so that if their company shows that they've had a record sales quarter, year, that if you have taken the risk to invest in that company and they've done well, then you'll get a little bit of a return. Now, sometimes investments can be opposite. If you invest in some type of new automobile company that's a publicly traded company, and all of a sudden you hear all these recalls on the news for problems that have occurred with the company, and that company loses some of the value, you would lose some money in your balance because you had chosen to invest in them. With any type of investment, there is some level of risk. If you just put your money in a sock drawer, there's the chance you could lose your money. So with every investment, there is some level of risk involved. Today I want to talk to you just a little bit about the stock market game. The stock market game lasts 10 weeks. It's an online investment strategy that challenges you and the others that you will work with on your team to make some good decisions with the topic we just discussed, money. If you had $100,000, and you will if you participate in the stock market game, it's virtual cash. You will go online to the stock market game website, and you and your team will make decisions, hopefully very informed decisions, about where you want to put your money to work, where you want to invest it so that it can earn money for you. Now, the good news is that we divide our state into 6 different areas, and you would not be competing against all students at all grade levels. You would be competing against students that are kind of in your grade level in your area of the state. You hope that you're going to make wise investments that is going to cause your $100,000 to grow faster and quicker and larger amount than the others that you're competing against. So let's take a little look and see what that means. First of all, I'm going to show you some companies that I think you probably have seen before, right? Can you name them all? We would consider these to be successful companies. And why are they successful? Well, they do a great job of advertising. They have quality products. The customers, like you and me, consumers, we want those products. These are companies that have done a great job of providing quality goods in the marketplace. Now, if we have been watching companies and we say, gosh, they always do well, they always have great products, they always have wonderful sales, it's always busy when I go into that store, we might say, you know what, maybe I'm going to put some of my $100,000 in that publicly traded company, and I'm going to just let them do the work, and I'm going to take the risk of investing in them, and my reward is that when they're very successful and they count up all their sales and they subtract their expenses and they have a profit, they're going to share part of that profit with me. And that's what the goal is. So let's say we like McDonald's, and we say, you know what, I think I'm going to buy some McDonald's stock. Does that mean that you own McDonald's? Does that mean that if you were to go into McDonald's and you walk up and you say, I'd like the number 3 special, they should just give it to you for free because you own shares of stock in that company? No, that's not exactly how it works. The way it really works is that you and I might decide that we think McDonald's is a great company and it's a great investment, and we decide we want to put some of our money in that company. It doesn't mean everything inside the company is ours at no cost, but what it does mean is that as that company has a great month or 2 months or 3 months and they tell the public, we have earned a great profit this year, if we own stock in that company, we get a little bit of the reward of that. We get a little bit of their share of the profit. Now, if a company has a bad month or a few months, problems happen in the company and they lose money, we lose money too. So how would we know what a wise investment was? We have the $100,000. We want our money to work for us, but where do we put it? I've given you some ideas of ways that you might invest your money. You're going to have to do some research. You're going to have to listen. You're going to have to check out the news. Those are all great strategies. So the first thing that we hear a lot of times students who are participating in the stock market game say is, I'm going to buy companies that I like because all my friends like those companies too. And because we all like it, there's a lot of other kids our age who also like it, and that would be a good way to invest our money. And some people do buy what they know. They buy companies that they own, where they like to go, good things they like to have in their home. And that's one strategy for investing your money. Another good strategy is you better kind of check out the news. Go online, look at some great sources that have some up-to-date information about stocks and what's going on in the news, and use that as a guide. Right after Christmas time, Apple reported that they had a great sales holiday and that over half of all of the new devices that were out in the marketplace were Apple products. So Apple's had a good holiday season. So if we had owned shares of Apple before the holidays and they have a great holiday season, that means that we're probably going to get a little bit of that benefit of their success in our portfolio, in our cash balance that we've invested is going to grow. So that's good. Now, as we get ready to go into 2015, there's always things that could happen that influence the market. So you're going to want to check and see what's going on. I put a picture of Google up because I often go to Google to look up information, but Google's more than just a search finder. Google actually spends a lot of time researching and developing new products. So if you look at this headline news, it says Google Tracker 2015, everything we know Google is working on for the new year. They're making some expansions into home automation and medicine. So they're going to be developing new things for the marketplace. If I see all this going along, I might say, you know, now might be a really good time to invest in Google because I think they're going to make some great, successful new products for the marketplace. They're going to make a lot of money, and I'm a shareholder, so I'm going to get some of that money too. Maybe. Here's one that says Coach. Some of you know about designer Coach bags. That Coach is going to be a great stock to invest in. Now, the newspaper's not always right, and the internet sources are not always right, so we don't want to just stop by what we read about. We want to actually do some research on our own. So if you go to Yahoo Finance, you'll be able to do some research. I know you do research in your classes all the time. So if I wanted to find out about a company that I really liked, let's say Under Armour, I would go here to where it says quote lookup. Now, one thing I want to share with you is that if you are in Spanish class, you probably have to communicate with your teacher and others in your class in the Spanish language. Well, for the stock market game, you have to be able to talk the language of the market, which is ticker talk. Every company has a short symbol that represents the company, and it's anywhere from 1 to 5 letters. So I don't know what Under Armour's ticker symbol is. I would begin to type, and as I type UND, and look what happens. Up pops Under Armour Company, and I can quickly see that the ticker symbol for Under Armour is UA. So I click on it, and here's what I find out about Under Armour. That right now, if I wanted to put some of my money to work for me, and if I wanted to invest in Under Armour, it's selling at $68.65 per share. Now remember, that doesn't mean I have Under Armour t-shirts, clothes. That means I'm buying a share, a piece of ownership in that company. Okay, so it would cost me about $69 for every share that I buy, and for the stock market game, you have to buy at least 10 shares of stock. So if I multiply it times 10, I would see that that's about $680 to $690. And then I have another little thing I need to consider. Every time I invest by purchasing or when I sell a stock, I have to pay a commission fee for someone to make that transaction happen. So I have to add on a little bit of math, 1%, added on to the total buy or the sell charge. Now, is $68 a good price for Under Armour? Well, here's where I probably need to do a little bit of research. If I look down here at the 52-week range, this tells me how has Under Armour done over the past year. You know, when you take your like one paper home and it's maybe not great grade, but you tell your family, you know, this is just one grade. It's not like my report card. Well, today it's 68.66, but if we wanted to look like at a report card for Under Armour, we can see the lowest and the highest that it's traded for in a year. So on the lowest range it's $40 and the highest range is $73. So Under Armour is trading at the top of its range. I still don't know if it's a good investment, so I might look to see how many other people are buying it. And we can see that about 665,000 shares have been traded, bought and sold today. On average, they trade about 2 million shares. And then the other thing I would want you to look at is what the beta number is. Every company has a beta number assigned to it. If it gets a 1.0, that means that it trades as the market trades. If all the stocks seem to have a pretty good day, it does, and if they don't, it seems to not. Well, anytime it's less than 1, it's a very stable stock. It's not very volatile. So Under Armour's not very volatile. Volatile stocks, that means they are the ones that can take wide rides, like a roller coaster ride sometimes. They have a beta of over 1. So if you're looking for something that might change quickly, you look for a high beta. If you're looking for a company stock that might just be a good investment for a long term, you would look for a low beta. Well, do you know who the competitors are for Under Armour? You probably do, but let's look and see who the Yahoo Finance identifies. They say that competitors that do the same thing as Under Armour that others might be interested in purchasing if they didn't buy Under Armour are Adidas, COLM, which is Columbia, and NKE. So if I wanted to see how they were doing compared one against each other, I would go up to the area where it says charts, and I would put the ticker symbol in for those companies, and I would compare them. So here we see the comparison. And I'm going to enter the companies I want to compare. ADDYY, COLM, NKE. And then I'm going to click Compare. And here is a nice little chart for me. I can see that Adidas seems to be doing pretty good here in comparison. Down here, the green line is Nike. The pink line is Columbia, and the blue line is Under Armour. So this gives me an idea. Do I want to keep looking towards purchasing Under Armour? Do I want to look at one of the competitors in the marketplace? That's a decision I'd have to make. Another great place to go is to look at the analysts. These are people who are paid to daily track everything that Under Armour does. They do a good job, they keep their job. If they don't do a very good job of making their recommendations, they won't keep that job for long. So let's see what the experts say. The experts say that if you hold it, if you already own it, keep it. Don't sell it. If you are interested in buying it, 7 of them say, now's a good time to buy it. 9 say, we really think this is a good investment. And 1 person says, you know what, I don't really think they're performing up to their ability. So based on this, I decide whether or not I want to invest in Under Armour. If I decide, my group and I decide that we want to invest in Under Armour stock, we would go to the Stock Market Game website. We would log in. Each team has their own special login and password. Don't share that with others because it's just easiest to keep it secure like you would if you had a bank account. You wouldn't share your information with everyone around you. So this is your portfolio of investments. When I log in, I get a lot of information. Because I have used my account, it doesn't show that I have $100,000 because I've already been investing in companies. It shows how much money I have left to invest. If I decided I wanted to buy Under Armour, and I have to buy at least 10 shares, I would go to the tab that says Trade, enter a trade, and I want to buy stock, and I want to buy Under Armour. Now remember, we said that we have to buy at least 10 shares. We might buy 50 shares. We'd have to do the math to make sure we wanted to invest that amount of money. We would preview the trade, and if that is really what we want to do, buy 50 shares, we would then enter our password to confirm the trade. Now what happens is that it tells me right here that my trade has happened. I now am the proud owner of 50 shares of Under Armour stock. And if I go right here to transaction notes, it will show me that my trade has occurred. I just bought 50 shares of Under Armour stock. My order was executed. You'll notice that on this screen and all the other screens that you visit, there's a blue little I button. If ever you come upon something and you're not sure of what it means, all you have to do is click the blue I button and the information will pop up and explain what every element on the screen means. So remember to visit that site for more information. Now, if I wanted to see all the stock that I have in my portfolio, I would go to the account holdings and it would tell me all the stock that I have right now in my account. And one thing that I probably would want to do is notice that it tells me when I bought it, how many shares I bought, and whether or not I'm doing well making money or losing money on my investment. Now, I just today purchased Under Armour stock, and it doesn't immediately appear in my account holding. Every night, the Stock Market Game website is updated. So in the morning, my 50 shares that I just purchased will appear right here as a trade. It has happened because I saw that it had occurred, but it hasn't popped over to the account holdings yet. Every day, you'll probably want to see what your ranking is, because one of the things we like to do is to see how you are comparing against other teams in your division, in your region. And so if you click on the region ranking, you can see that here I am, my team that I just entered, Bayside High School, and I'm in 10th place. So I look at my total equity, which is the amount of cash I have plus the value of the stocks and any other investments like bonds and mutual funds, and it's $101,000. In first place is $108,000. That's not a lot of difference. If I make some wise choices, I might be able to work my way up in the rankings, and you really want to, because the top 2 finishers at the end of the 10-week game are invited to a luncheon at Verizon Arena. They get a t-shirt, medallion, lunch, a little cash as a reward. So it's a nice way of saying thank you. Now, we think all of the teams are winners because they're learning valuable information. But just so you know, it's really great to be in the top 2 finishing spots. That's a little look at the stock market game. There's much more to learn. So if you have any questions, ask your teacher, and we can set up a webinar just us to discuss any questions you might have. Thank you and have a great day.